Hello and welcome to this week's Panther Podcast Weekly. This is Todd Bell. This week we're going to be diving into the Ohio Dominican cross country and track and field programs. Now, a reminder that you can catch all of our past episodes by going to our YouTube page, search Ohio Dominican Athletics, click that subscribe button, and you can catch up on all of the latest Panther Podcast Weekly. And you can get the latest information on what's coming up next on Panther Podcast Weekly by following the social media accounts ODU Athletics on both Facebook and on Twitter. For 2 years now, Connor Callahan has not only served as the head coach of the men's and women's cross country teams, but also the men's and women's track and field programs. The 2015 graduate of Ohio Dominican has already spent 5 seasons in the coaching profession after spending 3 seasons at Division II St. Leo University in Florida as an assistant of teams that qualified for national championships. It's my pleasure to welcome in Coach Connor Callahan to Panther Podcast Weekly. Well, Coach, what have you been doing to kind of keep yourself busy during all this time where you were away from school, your student athletes, and society for the most part?
Yeah, definitely. That's a great question. Thank you for having me first off and foremost. I appreciate you having me on, but it's definitely different times than normal. You know, I'm used to practice in the morning, practice in the afternoon, and trying to hit up a high school meet in the evening, whether it be the weekend or a weekday. But right now it's been a lot of recruiting and, you know, honestly, a lot of time to kind of focus on myself, train myself a little bit. You know, I would like to continue running a little bit myself. So it's been one that, you know, the athletes training always comes first. So right now it's kind of, you guys, here's the plan, please do it. And I'm kind of doing my own thing as well on the training end. So, you know, a lot of recruiting, a lot of, you know, time with some family that lives nearby. And that's been about it for me. Nothing too much.
How has the recruiting process been? We've talked with the other coaches thus far throughout the department, and certainly it's new and challenging for you right now.
Yeah, it's definitely something different. You know, it's one that when track comes around, you know, a lot of, you know, people that are track only tend to wait for a track season or, you know, wait for that indoor season to complete and then might even, you know, not commit until late spring. It's one that I'm sending out NLIs right now. So it's one that a cross country runner, you know, they got a whole season. You know, not all high schoolers get to run during that indoor season. So seeing improvements on times, marks, you know, all that kind of stuff it's been hard. You know, you really have to, you know, something I tell every recruit right now is I got to get to know you. You know, it's not all about the times and it never has been, but, you know, the marks and all that kind of stuff. We have to go off of what's in the past and we got to take their word for it of I've been working out, coach, I'm ready to come in. I'm ready to compete in the classroom and compete on the track. So, you know, every recruit's got to be able to do those things for us. So it's definitely been different, you know, not being able to get to 2 meets a weekend or 2 meets a week even. So that's been the biggest challenge for us is, you know, you do get to know the kids a lot more though.
We talked with both softball and baseball's programs. Their season's obviously affected by the shutdown. Yours was as well. How was that message delivered and received by you to your student athletes?
Yeah, it was hard. You know, just like I've watched all the podcasts, all the coaches have kind of said the same thing. And, you know, it's not easy for any of the seniors. You know, we can say, well, we got a whole indoor season and things like that. You know, I really didn't get to send our seniors off at all. You know, we were on spring break. I really haven't seen some of the kids since spring break, you know, and it's one that those seniors, that's who I feel for the most. But, you know, I was, you know, trying to send messages back and forth. You know, I know a lot of the teams were, you know, softball and baseball on the bus, teams Zoom calls and things like that. Ours was mostly just through messages and things like that, trying to, relay what I hear onto them. So, we did, like I said, we got that winter season, but the spring is what it's all about for us. It's the winter, it's about that, definitely, but the spring always seems a little more exciting. It's the weather's getting nicer. You're outside, you're getting a nice little tan going, so we didn't get that, and that's been the biggest thing. Our team first couple days and things like that, it was tough. Some of those seniors and some students they were mad. There's no other way to put it. They were upset, but like I tell everybody, you got to control what you can control, and it's out of our control. We didn't get to make those decisions, so that's the tough part about it.
You kind of led me down a path to the direction I wanted to go here by talking about indoor season and outdoor season. And you really didn't even mention the cross country that takes place in the fall. First of all,
yeah.
Do you have two business cards, or is it just one gigantic business card with all of that on there?
Just one big paragraph.
And two, is there a short answer for the seasons that you coach and the teams that you coach?
No, there's not. That's the beauty of it, though. It's one that I don't have an off season. We come in, our cross country team's training right now. They're on their own working out, and we'll get here in August, and it's full go until really November. But by the time our cross country team's finishing, we're already into indoor with the throwers, the sprinters, the jumpers, and then maybe a week off, and then it's full go again. So, cross country, it was a great season. It was a fun one. It was, first chance to kind of run with some of the recruits that we had, brought in. Caleb Belmont, Isaiah Saunders, those guys. And then you got Paige and Emma and Summer and Haley and Mary and, all those girls and guys, on the cross country side. And it was just fun to kind of have our first season of our commitments. And then, you see the indoor season and you don't get the outdoor. That's the toughest part. So it's, there is no downtime. Downtime is not a thing for myself and my staff. And I don't think I'd rather have it any other way, though,
So not only two sports, three kind of, if you track and field's a little bit separate, but also the men's and the women's. So approximately how many student athletes are under your umbrella? Yeah,
we've got, I would say it's around 35-ish. Going into this coming season, like I said, we're still not done yet. We've got 25 new athletes coming in between the men's and women's. And one of our goals and one of my goals is to change the culture and change the tradition. And this is going to be a big year. On the men's side, we have more men coming in than we do returning. So talk about a change in pace and a change in culture. It's going to happen, and these guys know, and that's all conversations we've had. And then on the women's side, we're only getting bigger. I think this coming year, the 2020-2021 season, we're only going to graduate 2 girls, and that's because one's graduating in 3 years. So a chance to really continue to grow the program is what we're most excited about in the years to come.
So as a young coach, how do you keep all of these student athletes going in the same direction? I imagine there's got to be some leadership within the team.
Yeah, it's definitely leadership within the team, and it's all hands on deck. Before this call, I've got, my assistants texting me. We've got a little Zoom call tonight with the team and everything like that, but communication is huge. GroupMe is an app that I never thought I would be using, and I thought I'd be able to, do everything myself, but it's cross country's in this direction, tracks in this direction, and just everyone does very well. I will say there's some last minute things, and it's, guys, I'm sorry, but we've just got so much going on between the different event groups and everything like that everyone is all hands on. Something that when I walked in the door, I was new, so I didn't care who had been there. Leadership could come from freshmen, leadership could come from seniors. And I think that's been something special about our team, is really just the leadership that we have. We've got some seniors that it's hard to see them graduate because they did, have a great 2 years with us and were a big, leadership role for us. But, it's one that everyone's got to step up, and everyone's got to, put their, hat in there and, go full force. And it's one that no matter what year you are on this team, you can lead. And that's what we've been able to do.
So you mentioned changing some of the culture and the traditions. What are your goals, aspirations, visions of these programs moving forward?
Yeah, it's one that I came back to my alma mater. That's something special. Not many people get to say they coached at their alma mater. They got to do those kind of things. But, like you briefly mentioned, when I was down in Florida, I got to coach a lot of great student athletes. And, we got to go to nationals every year I was there. I got to coach All-Americans and things like that. That's my goal. That's really my goal here is to, coach some, teams, individuals, whatever it might be, to make it to that national level. We've had one individual here in the past that, I was actually able to be a teammate with for a year. Never got to coach, but my goal is to have the first All-American in school history. I will say that, and that's my goal. I'm not afraid to say it. I know that's a big thing to say, but that's the goal. Is to have that All-American and, get some kids to the national level and get the most out of every student athlete. That's first and foremost, get the most out of everyone, and the rest is going to come from that.
Well, you just brought it up as an alum here and someone who was a part of these programs at Sunbury Road. Can you reflect back on your time at ODU and how you maybe ended up becoming a coach?
Yeah, it's one that Ohio Dominican, it's something special. I bike into work most days when it's nice out. I live super close. It is home. Ohio Dominican is home. Columbus is home. So coaching was always kind of the route I thought I wanted to go. I was a sports management major. I thought, what can I do with coaching or how can I get into it? Lucky enough to, have Coach Kent Reiber as a coach 1 year down when I was in Florida, and then to come back and have Paul Benedict, two great coaches. And then Coach Reiber down at St. Leo was, kind enough to, bring me on staff as a 22-year-old, whatever it was, at the time. And, I got right in and I had a lot of fun. And when I heard that the job at Ohio Dominican was opening, it was a chance to get back home, like I said. And that was an opportunity I couldn't pass up. I couldn't pass that chance up. I've got multiple aunts and uncles that have graduated from Ohio Dominican. I've got cousins that have graduated from Ohio Dominican. I myself. So the chance to come back home and lead a program right here in Columbus, right here on Sunbury Road, was a chance that it was a dream come true in reality. A dream, I had always wanted to coach here and, like we've said in the past, change the culture, change the tradition, and, get some All-Americans, whatever the goals might be. It was awesome.
Well, there certainly has been some energy around the program the last couple of years with you being here. It's always great to see you on campus. Hopefully we'll all be on campus very soon. We can see each other face to face and you can get back with your student athletes. Connor, thanks so much for the time here today. It was great talking to you, and best of luck next year.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much. And hopefully we'll see you here soon.
All right. Still to come, we're going to be visiting with a couple of Coach Callahan's student athletes. Later, we'll be talking with Chase Smith. But next, we'll meet with Tatiana Ammons, all on this week's Panther Podcast Weekly.
Advance your career in the healthcare industry with a Master's in Healthcare Administration from Ohio Dominican University.
At Ohio Dominican, I was able to earn my master's. It fit in perfectly around my schedule. I was able to advance my career, and the content applied directly into my day-to-day working experiences, which was exciting to see that come to life immediately.
Earn your master's online or on campus in just 18 months. Apply now at ohiodominican.edu/healthcare.
Our Panther Podcast Weekly continues. This is Todd Bell as we continue our dive into the cross country and the track and field programs. Now, a reminder, if you'd like to keep up with both of their programs, you can follow them on Twitter at ODUTFXC is how to do that. Coming up in a few moments, we're going to be visiting with Chase Smith from the men's side of the cross country and track and field programs. But first up is Tatiana Ammons. She just completed her second season with the track and field program. She will be a junior next year for Coach Callahan. Tati, thanks for joining us and welcome to Panther Podcast Weekly. If you could, for me, kind of describe the experience of finishing up your sophomore year at Ohio Dominican.
Okay, yeah. First of all, thanks for having me. My second year kind of finished out not as planned, obviously, just because the pandemic, but we did get to finish our indoor season, so I was glad about that. It's kind of just overwhelming or kind of scary, not knowing what was going to happen when the pandemic broke out, but just happy we got to finish that indoor season with the seniors, and yeah.
What about the education side of things and the online classes? How did that take shape for you?
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely a transition and like something nobody was used to, so that kind of took a while to get used to. It kind of just you just kind of had to stay motivated and make sure you're getting up for class, because obviously you could just stay in bed for class now that since it's all online. But make sure you're getting up and taking notes as if class was regular.
Are you ready to get back into a real classroom?
Oh yeah.
Well, hopefully we'll be able to do that here in the upcoming here in the fall. Tell me about the events that you take part in the track and field program.
Yeah, so I pretty much throw everything. So I throw shot put, weight, discus, and hammer, and I mess around with javelin a little bit. But yeah, all 5 really.
So just anything that you can throw, that's what you're involved in.
Pretty much.
Which one of those is your favorite?
See, people always ask me what's my favorite. I always tell them I don't have one.
Mm-hmm.
I think that hammer is definitely the funnest, most consistent, and like probably disc. I don't know. I like them all, but yeah, probably hammer's probably the funnest then.
So how about the background of how you got involved with those events that you're now doing here at ODU?
Yeah. So when I was in high school, well, actually when I was in middle school, I ran, and then I kind of I had a knee surgery my sophomore year of high school. So then I kind of wanted to just take it easy, so I started throwing, and I really liked it. So I just kept doing it.
Has there been an influence or a coach or who has helped you the most in that department?
I guess kind of my high school coach. He knew that I really liked the sport, and he really wanted me to stick with it. So he kind of, gave me that push to keep doing something else, even if it wasn't running.
All right. So then maybe what's the most challenging one for you, or what's the hardest one for you to kind of get a grasp of?
Well, I'd say in weight, there was definitely like a lot of mental block this year, but like there was one week where I just didn't want to throw it for the meet, and then I didn't, and they let me not throw it for the week, and then like kind of came back and started practicing it and got back into it slowly, and like things just started to click. I definitely say that, and there's also like a lot of mental block and like shot put.
So the mental side of the game, more so than the physical side, can also be a big challenging part for you.
Yeah, definitely.
So maybe take people through practice. I think people are very familiar with the common stick and ball sports, right? Basketball, football, baseball, and practicing. What about track and field? Because obviously challenges at ODU, not having a on-site track or place to practice. How do you guys prepare for your meets?
Yeah. So, do you want me to walk you through like the whole?
Yeah, sure.
So yeah, so we come back and then we start pretty early. We start conditioning, and then we slowly like start to add in lifting, and then we get up to lifting like 4 times a week, and then we start training, start throwing pretty early. We have back on Brenton Field, there's like a small ring for us, so it's not. So the facilities isn't as much of a problem as it is for the runners, opposed to the throwers. So there's a ring back there that we throw at. And then when it starts to get colder, we have a ring inside the gym that we only can really use for shot put because the ceilings are low. So and then we do practice at Capitol during the winter too. So that kind of helps. So we are able to throw, but yeah, it can be difficult not having facilities, but
you guys make the most of what you can do.
Exactly.
I understand that you were starting a vlog. I'm an old guy, so I guess that's a video blog. What led you to that idea?
So it kind of just happened. I just was kind of had my phone out one day recording with my teammates, and then I just basically recorded the whole meet, and then you edit it and put it all together, and then you kind of just have like a video blog. That's all we call it.
Now, is this available that people can see it, or did you just keep it for yourselves?
It's on my YouTube channel, so I think you just have to look up my name.
Okay.
Pop up. So.
All right. Well, we'll all do that. Look up Tatiana Ammons on the YouTube. Right after you get through watching this, you can do that, and you can check out some of the things that you're doing there. That's pretty awesome. A sociology major. Tell me about the decision to go down that path and what you are choosing to do after you get done with college.
Yeah, so I was undecided for a long time, and then I took a sociology class, and I kind of started to find myself interested in it. So then I went to career development, and Jessica Hall, she's really great. She helped me go through the process, and she said maybe you should talk to your professor. So I went to talk to my professor, and she's like, I think you'd be amazing at sociology. So then, we just started talking about what it would look like and what after college would look like. And so I picked it. And I also, I work with kids in the summer. So I didn't get to do that this summer because of pandemic, but that's what I normally do, and I love it. So I think I'm going to end up working with kids in my future. So yeah.
Outstanding. Moving forward, what are you looking most forward to once we can all get kind of back to normal?
Oh gosh. I'm really looking forward to next school year, just being back with my friends and actually back with the team. We got a lot of new people coming in, so excited to meet everyone.
And lastly, Coach Callahan, or a little birdie, somebody said I should bring up something called Juice Jacks.
Yeah.
Can you explain that to me, please?
Yeah. So Juice Jacks, they're jumping jacks, and you spell out juice as you do them, Juice, juice, and then I guess it just gets you juiced up and ready to go. So,
are you leading these?
Yeah, I kind of started it.
Well, outstanding. Well, I'm glad that you were able to get things finished up. It sounds like things are starting to open up, get a little bit back to normal. So hopefully you'll be able to enjoy your summer, and we'll get back to campus come August.
All right. Thank you.
That is Tatiana Ammons with us here on Panthers Podcast Weekly.
Jumpstart your business career with an MBA from Ohio Dominican University.
I looked at several other programs. Obviously, the top of the list was quality of education. Ohio Dominican University fit that bill. Outside of that, it was convenience. Time was a big factor, trying to balance a job and a family. Ohio Dominican University made it possible.
Earn your MBA online or on campus in just 16 months. Now offering concentrations in data analytics and risk management. Apply now at ohiodominican.edu/MBA.
Chase Smith joins us, and he just finished his junior year at Ohio Dominican, second season of competition after missing some time due to an injury throughout his career. Chase, thanks for taking some time to be with us. So, as I've asked everybody, how was life in quarantine for you? What did you find to do to keep yourself busy?
It was just being in a small town I graduated with 80 kids in my class, so it was already nobody here. So being on my own, it was kind of hard to find stuff to do. I guess I ended up reteaching myself how to backflip.
Okay.
If that means anything, but
well, let's see. We had somebody try to learn how to skateboard. We've had some people working on a Rubik's Cube. So doing a backflip, that just fits right in.
Oh yeah.
Well, looking at your bio online of all of the events that you take place in the track and field program at Ohio Dominican, it almost seems like it would be easier to list the events that you don't participate in. But how about you highlight a few of the stronger events for me and what you like to do?
A few of my stronger events, I would say javelin. I haven't got to do that since my freshman year because sophomore year I tore my ACL, so I haven't got to compete in an outdoor meet since 2018. Was the last time I got to compete in that. Pretty close to the school record in that. I really like the 100 and the 260. Those are my favorite sprinting events. And long jump is my favorite jumping event. And like you said, I I mean, there's multiple events I do, so got to find love for all of them.
Now, you also are part of the cross country team as well, and we do have multiple, student athletes who kind of do the cross country thing and the track and field thing. What is the benefit for you of doing both?
I find when I come into indoor season, I'm in way better shape than when I just do fall training and just lifting. And coming the final events in the HEP and then the decathlon, I have the 1K and then the 1500, and you got to be pretty conditioned to finish off the days doing those events. So
now, if you're doing cross country in the fall and if you're doing indoor in the winter season and then outdoor in the spring, so there's no downtime for you whatsoever. How do you manage all of that and still get the work done in the classroom as well? Because I think it's important for people to understand that, especially at the Division II, Division III level, that student part is very important to student athlete.
Oh, yeah. I had a few conversations with my coach. He was able to help me out a lot because at one point I was doing 3 practices a day, from being either at 6 a.m. clear to 7 o'clock lifting at night. But we were able to figure out a schedule for me to focus on certain events on some days to where it's not so taxing on me with trying to deal with class also. And our coach, Coach Callahan, he's very helpful with schooling and everything. He's very understanding that before we're athletes, students. So he's really adamant about like study tables and being able to get our schoolwork done instead of just doing an extra workout. So he's very helpful with that.
Now, you earned 6 personal bests during this most recent indoor season. What was the key to some of your improvements that you felt this past year?
It was a lot of training in the off season, like in the summer, and then just listening to everything my coaches said, whether it be Coach Callahan, Coach Weehee, Coach O, and Coach Mary. They all helped me balance out different events and just really focusing on the tiny little things I need to improve in certain events, like doing 7 and 10 different events in 2 days. You figure out which events are your stronger ones that you don't need to work as hard on. And when it comes to like the specialties like jumping and stuff like that, you need to take a bit more time on. So I was able to get a lot of PRs after missing my whole sophomore year. So that really helped too.
Now, Chase, I understand the pole vault and the hurdles were something relatively new for you. So what was challenging about those 2 events this past year?
I mean, it was just starting from scratch because my high school didn't even have pole vault because our mat was taking up the track. So we didn't have it. And then I never did hurdles in high school because I only did track for 2 years in high school, my junior and senior year. So those were 2 whole new aspects for me, a lot of technical work. And working with Buckeye Pole Vault, Austin, he really helped me out. And our pole vault team, Jarrett and Alex Botello, they really helped me out. And Coach O, he has a lot of knowledge on hurdles, and he was able to help me out pretty well.
Yeah, as far as I know, it's just jumping over them without falling down is really the key. But I'm sure there's other stuff in there as well, right?
Yeah, just a little bit.
Now, looking ahead to next season, Chase, what event are you kind of looking forward to maybe seeing your most improvement going into the what would be your 3rd season of competition?
I'd really like to get that javelin school record this year. I've really been eyeing it since my freshman year. I definitely know I have it in me. It's just doing it in a competition and then getting the hurdles. I had a pretty bad race in the hurdles at conference, and I really wanted to make up for that.
All right. Well, we'll certainly keep an eye on that as well. All right. Now, before we wrap things up with you, Chase, now, a couple of weeks back, I was visiting with a softball program, and Carson Hackard, she was telling us that her high school mascot is a hot dog. They're the Frankfurt hot dogs. It's like this ferocious dachshund. Now, you're from Crooksville High School. You've referenced it a couple of times. Small school, middle of nowhere. I've been there. I know what it's all about. What is your school nickname?
The Ceramics.
What is that? I mean, we all know what a ceramic is, but are you the Fighting Ceramics or just the Ceramics?
It's just the Ceramics. Usually we either just have like a star on our chest, or some of our logos, it's like a naked man on a potter's wheel making pottery. Our basketball like court, they always call it the kiln.
Okay.
So yeah, we get a lot of jokes about us. So
yeah, I was trying to do a little research. All I saw was like a C for Crooksville as the main logo. I don't know that I saw the guy doing the pottery, but I'm sure you guys, you probably take a lot of pride in it, but you heard a lot about it from the opposing schools.
Oh yeah, all the time.
All the time. All right, Chase. Well, hopefully we can all get outside. We can get going. We can get back in school very soon. You can maybe attack that javelin record, something that we'll be keeping our eye on. Thanks so much for being with us on Panthers Podcast Weekly.
Oh, yeah. Thanks for having me.
All right. That's going to wrap up another edition of Panther Podcast Weekly. Now, remember, to view past episodes, visit the ODU YouTube page, search ODU Athletics, and you can check past episodes. You can also check out that Student Athlete Awards show that we had a couple of weeks back as well. And follow ODU Athletics on Twitter and Facebook, and you will get the latest releases. My thanks to Coach Callahan, as well to athletes Tatiana Ammons and Chase Smith for being a part of this week's show. This is Todd Bell. Thanks for tuning in this week. And remember, it's always a great day to be a Panther.